Greetings. Welcome to this corner of uncomfortable truth, where we don't hand out yellow envelopes, but we do treat everyone equally. Make yourselves comfortable, take out your charm against inflation, and get ready, because today we're going to sail through the deep waters of the swamp of courageous honesty. Can we say it out loud now, or do we still have to ask the Department of Alternative Facts for permission? Because look, if we walk like a duck, quack like a duck, and have contracts with the government like a duck, well, it's not a conservative right-wing conspiracy, it's the family business of transformation. It turns out that while they were telling you that a pair of shoes and a single suit were enough to live in Juarez-style modesty on the outskirts of the National Palace, the concept of austerity seemed to be a joke told over glasses of expensive wine and trips abroad. We already knew about the apartments in Houston, the business deals with Amilcar Alon, the welfare handouts, and the broken chocolates. But now the family tree gives us a new branch, the golden brother-in-law. Get ready, take out your lucky charm or your trusted scapular, because today we're going to sail through the murky waters of the royal family of Tabasco once again. Because in the fourth transformation, reality always has other facts and other relatives. Let's get to it. Let's talk about Rodrigo Gutiérrez Müller. No, he's not the main character in a Televisa soap opera, despite the script. It's just as unbelievable. This gentleman, so to speak, surely driven by an uncontrollable philanthropic spirit, decided in 2021 that the people needed to move their money. And what better way to do it than by founding companies with names that sound like campaign slogans, Pagos del Bienestar and Envios del Bienestar, Sociedad Anónima de Sociedad de Responsabilidad Limitada de Capital Variable. Such creativity. All they needed was to add the flag of hope to make the sarcasm complete. What's interesting isn't that the man's brother-in-law, who claimed with his brother to have ended corruption, started a business. What's truly transformative is that his partners in these business ventures have been singled out by Uncle Sam, yes, those envious gringos from the Department of Justice, for moving no less than $50 million. Money laundering, please. The money was likely dirty from being handled by so many people. Well, and they were just giving it a quick wipe with institutional bleach, but the ambition didn't fade away. How do you stop it? Here? Let's go all the way to Jalisco, the land of tequila, and apparently of very important person managers. The former mayor of Tamazula de Gordiano, Francisco Javier Alvarez Chavez, spilled the beans, and he boasted that none other than Rodrigo Gutiérrez Müller personally took him by the hand to the Ministry of Finance. For what? Well, for what any ordinary citizen does, to arrange 25 million pesos and a line of credit with some maneuvering. Imagine how fortunate you'd be if the bank refused you a credit card due to your debt. But if you're a friend of the presidential brother-in-law, the doors of the treasury open like the Red Sea. Before Moses, the mayor said it was to pay for some streetlights. The detail lit the path of corruption with federal money. And even though the mayor wasn't a member of Morena, it seems that in the world of public business, the party's color doesn't matter. When the manager's last name carries more weight than the Constitution. And this is exactly where the ethics of "we are not the same" comes in. What hurts the most, what really makes you want to laugh so you don't cry, is the narrative. They've been selling us more than 7 years of political puritanism that would make the Inquisition look like a group of liberal hippies. We're not the same, they repeat like a mantra. And they're right. They're worse, because these people even steal the dictionary to redefine the word honesty. How do you explain that the children live like Arab sheikhs without any known job besides being someone's children? How do you explain that the inner circle is riddled with money laundering investigations, while the official narrative is that there's no more corruption at the top? Well, that's the wonderful world of political coincidences. It's the magical place where the stairs are swept from top to bottom, but it seems the dust always stays. How do you explain that those who have become the children of those who have become have turned into the children of those who have become? The transformation of public resources into private assets. But let's go a little deeper into the manure. The former president, Jumento Macuspano López Obrador, that champion of Franciscan austerity, who lived with 200 pesos in his wallet, has a brother-in-law who doesn't exactly share his vow of poverty. As I was saying, Rodrigo Gutiérrez Müller, the older brother of the not First Lady, Mrs. Soapy. In the middle of the 6-year term, when we were all busy trying not to die from COVID, Rodrigo decided it was the perfect time to start a business. And he didn't open a little grocery store. No way, he created financial services companies, but the best part isn't the business itself, it's the name, as I already mentioned. In this country, if your business name lacks well-being, it's as if you lack the Tabasco Olympus's blessing. That's how well-being shipments and well-being payments were born. Because, of course, who would suspect something that sounds so benevolent? So tell me who you associate with, and I'll tell you what you're laundering. This is where the plot thickens like Tabasco chocolate. It turns out that Rodrigo's partners are not exactly saints. Among the shareholders are people like Carlos Alberto Grijalva and Brian Ronald Cleland, who have already admitted in the United States to laundering the modest sum of $46 million. And how did these guys make their money? Well, by scamming social programs in the United States and pretending to sell masks during the pandemic. What Mexican humanism? The cutest thing of all is that in California, they also registered a company called, guess what? Yes, Pagos del Bienestar. Creativity really knows no borders. That's how they created the dream team of dirty money. Because wait, there's more in Envios del Bienestar. Not only are there confessed money launderers, there's also a collection of former officials that would make any comic book villain pale in comparison. Alejandro Medina, Custodio, none other than the former head of the Financial Intelligence Unit of Tabasco, and Héctor de la Paz Cázares, former director of fiscal crimes at the Procuraduría General de la República. The ones who should have been chasing the mice ended up teaming up with the boss's relative to guard the cheese. How efficient is that? To top off this horror anthology, Rodrigo Gutiérrez Müller has another little gem called Quartz Team International Mexico. His partner, Antonio Morales Diaz, mayor of Tapalpa, yes, the same town where the narco-nominas found in luxury cabins, suggested that the local police were on the cartel's payroll. Jalisco New Generation. Coincidences. As López Obrador himself used to say, in politics there are no coincidences. But of course, if he says it, it's a divine revelation. If we say it, we're just suspicious conservatives who can't stand to see how the good people are making progress, starting with the presidential family. The reality is that the staircase was swept from top to bottom, but it seems they left all the trash hidden under the rug at the entrance of the palace. Opinions on social media are on fire, from those demanding a real hearing and audit, to the cheerleaders who defend the indefensible, saying these are attacks from the right. But the facts, those that have no ideology, there you have a brother-in-law under international scrutiny, partners with criminal records, and a network of influence that reaches even the smallest municipalities in Jalisco. If this wasn't the most corrupt 6-year term, at least they're trying really hard to win first place. Well, dear audience, cultured and knowledgeable, there you have it. Another stripe on the tiger, or rather another brother-in-law of well-being, is causing an epic-sized discomfort in the discourse of honesty. It seems the stairs were swept, but only so that partners and relatives could climb faster to the attic where the loot is kept. Remember that in this country, if you don't cheat, you don't get ahead, and if you're a relative, you help yourself with the big spoon. Don't get discouraged. Keep working hard to pay your taxes because those welfare payments and those brothers-in-law's deals aren't going to fund themselves. I'm leaving to see if a relative can help me, even if it's just getting a grocery voucher from the Treasury. But what do you think? I'll read your comments. Be naughty, take care of yourselves. See you Monday for the next national blunder. Have an excellent weekend. Remember that you can make your donations via PayPal. You can find the information in the comments section. Thanks to you, this channel stays active. It's very important to subscribe, like, and hit the bell to get notifications every time there's new content. Thank you.